Hey everybody, my name is Rodney Pennington and I serve as the Vice President for Mobilization with OMF International. Today I'd like to be sharing with you some of the things that often come up in some of my discussions at conferences or when I'm out talking to people that are thinking about taking that next step and engaging in missions. And one of the big things that typically comes up is this idea of, if I'm going to join a missions fellowship, what are some of the things that I should be thinking through before doing that? So typically I would just tell them to do your homework on the agencies. One of the things you need to remember is that you're not only going to be going into a missions fellowship to be interviewed, but you also need to be thinking about how am I going to be interviewing them as well. So there's a few key things. So one of the things is getting to know them is to start thinking about what is their mission, vision, and values? Mission, vision, and values. Why would you need to do that? Well, you need to see if you're in sync with where this fellowship, where this organization is going. Does it align with your doctrine? Does it align with the thought that you have in a group that I want to join, what they're doing, what they're trying to do, what they hope to do? What is the mission that they have? What's the vision they have for the future? And what are the values that really leads them as an organization? So that's one of the first things in getting to know them. Understand their mission, vision, and value, and asking yourself, does it really align with our heart? Now, does it have to be perfect? No. This side of heaven, you'll never find the perfect organization. But you will get to know them a lot in understanding their own mission, vision, and values, and that'll help you through this process. The other thing to do is to get to know their expectations. There's a lot of things in the expectations of what's coming from the organization that you're joining, but just a few of them are when you start to think about, before we even get to the field, that pre-field experience. This is that beginning phase of what do you expect through the application process? What am I going to need to provide? What am I going to need to do? Is there a psych evaluation, the health checks? What sort of references, etc. That list goes on and on and on. But you're thinking about pre-field, we're not there yet, we're getting to know your organization, what's expected of us, and what, even what's expected of you. What about finances? How do you do healthcare? Retirement? Is there an admin fee? As we raise support, what percentage is that admin fee? What sort of training, pre-field training do they provide? There's a lot of things to start processing through, and that's just a quick list to get you to start thinking about those things. But pre-field, the very beginning stage is getting to know each other. What are their expectations in that pre-field process? And then as you're talking through those things and you're making your list, start making a list about the field side expectations. What's going to happen when you get to the field? What kind of member care is provided? If there's a health issue, if there's a family issue, there's all kinds of things that can come up on the field that you need to be asking. When we actually land on the field, what's going to be provided? What about training? What sort of field side training is going to be there? How do you look at learning the language, learning the culture? How do you teach people about these things when we get to the field? That's a big one. Start processing through that and thinking about that. When we get to the field, what does the organization provide on the field? Do they send out people just as individuals, or do they expect you to work on a team? These are all kinds of things to just get your brain thinking about what are some of the things we need to start jotting down so we get to know them as well. And then the other one is just returning. Everybody comes back from the field at some point. It might be a home assignment, it might be for retirement. What's happened when we return? Again, thinking about that member care aspect of it. When we get back from the field, whether that's 6 months, a year, whatever that might be, or running into retirement, what member care is provided in that? What resources are provided into that? Thinking about, well, if I'm going to connect with my partners, do you provide resources for that? Do you provide resources for asking my partners to get engaged in the ministry or educating them about the needs of mission? What happens even if you're coming off the field for retirement? Where's the member care for that, or the health care for that? All those types of things. So those are just a few of the things to kind of get your brain thinking, to start producing a list. As you're getting to know them, you're getting to have an opportunity to interview that organization itself, so you can see if you're in sync on more pages than you're not. So there you have it. These are just a few of the things to start to process and think through as you're exploring what it might look like to join a missions agency or a fellowship.